Yeah. uh-huh. Yeah. Shit. Grams leaders CCs, pounds. Close cash, close call, close encounter, close up, pounds of liters of grams, get your dosed up, cut this up and post up, and get dosed up. This for them voted like the move and make the most of. Monday night at 8, I can't wait to set you straight. These opinions and debates for them folk that can't relate. I gotta elevate your mind through these signs of the time. Dishing out that medication for that deaf, dumb and blind. And I ain't hard to find, you can catch me in them trenches. I drew the groundwork and I ain't waiting on no sense. I be touching on them topics politicians fail to mention. And I don't vote for nobody that ain't got good intentions. I'm relentless for my people and I'm here to make a change. I got that truth serum hooked directly to your veins. Hey, this is for my people, tune in, catch a close up, close up, close up, a close up, grams of it, tune liters of it, close up, pounds of it. Pounds of it, yeah, grams of it, liters up, pounds, get your dosed up, dosed up, dosed up, dosed up, dosed up, dosed up, dosed up.
Yeah. What's happening? It is Monday night. I'm Shootah, aka Dose. You just heard Lab drop them things off on you.
One time for the one time.
Exactly. We back at it, beautiful
right.
people.
That's right.
Boy,
How was your weekend, bro?
Yep, I'm just gonna get into a weekend update. I worked, you know what I'm saying? Went to work. Get off early enough to still enjoy myself. Ended up doing some grown man shit like landscaping and washing the car.
Okay.
And just thinking.
Do you like working in the yard?
No, I don't.
I'm gonna say, cause I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't like working in the yard.
No.
I don't like cutting grass and all that. I actually pay somebody to come cut this grass.
Yeah. I do that from time to time too. Sometimes I just get a wild hair in my ass. You know what I'm saying? And I might want to do it for the cardio or to sweat something real quick.
Yeah.
But and I do it like I say because it makes you just feel like, all right, this is my house, my responsibility. Right. You know. I did some cleaning inside too, you know what I'm saying? Bathroom cleaning, bedroom cleaning. Getting ready to start working on my basement because I want to turn that into almost like a loft, man. Put a bathroom down there, a studio down there, maybe to do some music, man, like entertainment type stuff. And crank that thing up, man.
Cave, huh? Kind of, sort of.
Something like that, yeah. Entertainment cave.
Entertainment cave. That's even better.
For dates too, dating purposes too, you know. Yeah, or in business too, you know what I'm saying? I want like a duck off where if I need to get something done, I don't always have to travel to do it anymore. And that's kind of like piggybacking in on what we're going to talk about, a purpose topic. Like starting to bring my purpose all around me. So that's definitely what I wanted to do. But yeah, back into the weekend, when I'm doing these things like washing the car, cleaning up, cutting grass and stuff like that, that's going to be a new form of like therapy for me. Like I want to think about what I got going on and what I need to do when I'm doing this. So like, you know, arrange things in order. It's been great. Like, you know, I got a lot done while I was doing it. So
So when you cutting the grass and you doing all your chores around your house that you own, let's just make that clear. It's a way for you to focus and concentrate and think about other things that you may need to do later on down the line. How you gonna start it or complete it, stuff like that.
Let's just say when I was washing my car, I was thinking of possible lines for the script I'm writing. Props. Or what to say in that group that we were talking about like last week with the networking. You know, how to approach them with the next scene or whatever I want to get done and accomplished. I just, you know, think of those things while I was washing my car. When I was cleaning, let's just say I was thinking more about the budget end of it, the finances, like what I got to do to make the money to make what I just thought about when I was washing my car happen. You know, then while you're cutting the grass or something, now I'll probably be thinking about something a little bit more physical, like, boy, I got to go ahead and hit that gym soon or something like that. You know, in a routine that I want to have set aside for myself. Those type of things.
I could get with those things. I
I think a lot of times we don't take into consideration doing other things to help us concentrate on the things we may need to do or may want to do.
That's not necessarily in the forefront. You know what I'm saying? While you cutting grass, you thinking about scripts and all that other stuff. And to be honest with you, not to be gross or anything, but that's what people do when they sit in the bathroom.
Yeah, I mean, you know if they're not reading something on their phone, but see, that's the thing. Like, I put my phone aside now. Oh man, I forgot something that I want to bring. I'm gonna bring it next time though. But it's almost like a phone too. But to record yourself sometimes, I'll only have my phone for that. Other than that, the phone is in my pocket or somewhere else because I need this time to create. A lot of the times, my phone will be a distraction.
That's true.
You know, I'll look at it for motivation if it's something that somebody in the group I'm in and they're doing something, you know what I'm saying? Then I'll check out what they got going on. But it's still similar to what I have going on.
Okay.
So that doesn't really distract me.
Okay.
But other than that, I need my thoughts because the thoughts are that shit gonna jump out my mind into real life at some point. And you know, to take that time and just think about the grass I'm cutting.
Right.
You know,
who wants to think about that
exactly?
Anyway?
That's just gonna make it kind of like a little burden or whatever.
Right.
You know.
I mean, I guess you would use that kind of time, that different time, to figure out other things, especially if you're trying to live it within your purpose and you're trying to figure out what that purpose is and what road or path to take towards that purpose. Using other things to help you find a clearer path to the purpose, or to decide if you're living it or you need to switch. It's a great thing.
So that's actually what the topic today is about, is purpose. Do you have a purpose? And if you have a purpose, are you living in your purpose? And how does that feel?
Right.
And what is your purpose?
Right.
All right. So with that being said, I mean, I know what my purpose is, but you know, sometimes people's purpose may just be just that, their perception or what you think it is.
Right.
And it's led up to be, I say, opinionated. But I don't let anyone shake me or shake my ground for what I feel my purpose is.
Right. Let me give an overall understanding or definition of what purpose is, or what your life's purpose is. Your life's purpose is a set of goals or overreaching intentions that meaningful to you and has a larger impact on the world. It can help you organize your life, give you direction and motivate you, especially when you face setbacks. Your purpose can also influence your behavior, guide your decisions, and help you prioritize your time.
So exactly, my purpose kind of like has all of that with it.
Right.
For the definition that I have, it's more of it's something that you like, it's intentionally created to be done.
Okay.
Or like it's a necessity, like that is what you're here for.
It's all of that.
Exactly. So within that, man, I mean, I can say this: my purpose makes me feel important. Everyone else's purpose, I would hope, it makes them feel important, especially if there's a need for it.
Right. Do you think purpose is only supposed to make you feel important? Because you know some people's purpose makes them feel just good overall. In general, their overall feeling like their purpose is enlightening to them, and it energizes their soul. So, and I guess that's all a part of importance too, right?
I have that later down on my list of basically like, does your purpose make you feel fulfilled or happy?
Okay, yeah, those things.
But the main thing as far as importance, it could be make you feel important because of how it affects other people. Like my purpose affects others.
Okay.
So I'm not necessarily, my purpose isn't selfish, like meaning it's just self for me, or my purpose is strictly to do something for me and no one else actually can see it or be affected by it.
Do you think purpose in general, not saying that you're trying to guide other people how to do it, but do you believe, like I believe, you know, do you believe that your purpose should have a little bit of give back? Like you should be able to help, like you say, you know, helping other people and stuff. Do you think a part of the purpose should be that as well?
Well, like I say, first of all, you should be good at your purpose, like without minimum effort, meaning if it's kind of meant for you to be. And so when you actually embrace it, then you'll be great at it.
Okay.
So when you become great at something with me, I would like to pass it on.
Okay.
Or help others with it, teach others, you know what I'm saying? It just depends on what someone's purpose is, how they can convey their purpose.
Okay.
Which I have a little bit further down on my list, ways that I convey my purpose.
Okay.
But definitely, yeah, I want my purpose to live on past me.
Okay.
So I'm definitely gonna help others with it.
So let me ask you, let's talk about this part of a purpose. Finding your purpose. Finding, are you actually living through your purpose? And finding, and if you don't find your, if you find your purpose, or you don't think that you are living through your purpose, we got to figure out how to shift.
So check this out, like, and it's funny because you can find your purpose when you're damn near in your late 40s or whatever, but that doesn't mean that your life didn't have value,
right?
Or you don't have value. You can have value and not have a purpose,
right?
So I don't stump, or people shouldn't stump themselves on purpose.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Sometimes the purpose could just be to live,
right,
and enjoy what you have going on,
right.
I just so happen to like stumble upon the purpose or understand kind of like what I'm intentionally here for, because a lot of people give me feedback for that, as well as I didn't need feedback, because what else is on here is it becomes kind of like obvious to people from the outside looking in.
Right.
Meaning I didn't have to tell you my purpose, but you can kind of see, oh yeah, that
it gives you an aura that's what you're doing.
You walking it, and people can definitely tell that's what you meant to do. Let's just give an example, like we'll just say Simone Biles' purpose could possibly be that gymnastics. You see what I'm saying? And maybe to enlighten others with that. Then next thing you know, she could, build off of that, meaning like teach flexibility, or like never giving up, believing in yourself.
One of the strangest things, one of the things that probably depresses people the most, like you said, Simone Biles, is being great at something, but then discovering later on that wasn't even your purpose.
Cool. And then also you can look at stature and being great at that. You see what I'm saying? To me, a purpose has already been delivered, meaning you can be of a certain stature and still do things that giants can't do.
Right.
As far as she is short. You see what I'm saying? Not to put a knock on her or anything like that.
Right.
But compact, but still making an impact.
Right. But still doing gigantic things. Living in your, being great at something and thinking like this is what I'm supposed to do, but then finding out later on that that's not necessarily what your purpose is. That's not necessarily what you're supposed to be doing to fulfill your life work or fulfill yourself. I think that's a shock to the system, because to me, I would say, if I'm great at this, this got to be my purpose. And then when you discover later on that, or just by researching or learning or reading or whatever the case may be that brings you to the path to discover that greatness that I had at that wasn't necessarily my purpose. That may have been a vessel to my purpose, or a way, means to an end to get to my purpose, but that necessarily was not my purpose. I was great at it. Don't get me wrong. I'm great. We great, right?
How about we do it like this? Because look at it, their purpose could be like a tree, right? A tree has multiple purposes. It could give you oxygen. Right. It can shade you, can it?
Right.
All right. So it can also provide wood, firewood.
Bear fruit.
Exactly. Right. So sometimes let your purpose be, but grow with it.
Okay.
Like branch out with your purpose, which is what I've done. You see what I'm saying? Like, which is, okay, I'll just go ahead and skip to the multiple ways that I can convey my purpose.
Okay.
I can convey my purpose by speaking. I can convey my purpose by acting. I can convey it through drawing.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? I can convey it through music. What else did I have that through?
So the thing that you're great at, what you're saying is that's the root of your purpose. And you are to take that thing that you're great at and grow the tree and branch off.
Build off of
things.
It.
Okay. So that greatness is your foundation.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then see, like, once again, if your purpose, my purpose, like I say, is to, I would just say I'm beginning to follow into my leading role, if that makes any sense.
I get what you're saying.
And when I say follow nature into how I'm going to lead. So I'm looking at if that's my purpose, then, hey, I could lead in many different ways. I could lead you to fishing if I want. I could lead you in fashion.
Do you think purpose is supposed to make you feel good? Like, well, let's put it this way. I know it's supposed to make you happy, but do it supposed to make you feel good as well?
If it's executed,
emotions are different.
Yeah. Sometimes, let's just say, yeah, because no matter how hard it is, I'm always going for that purpose. So I'm having to get some type of joy from it.
Right.
And I've even said that when you have a purpose, you don't even necessarily have to be paid for it.
Okay. I get that.
Because it's something that you were born to do or you've been doing. And sometimes, like I say, you stumble upon your purpose. You could have been doing it all along and didn't know anyway. And some people find their purpose quicker than others because there's no time frame to finding it or walking into it.
I get it. So, I guess what I'm thinking is, for me as a 53-year-old man, when I started out, when I started out DJing, I thought that okay, I'm finna be a superstar DJ. That's my purpose. But as I tracked along life and gone through things and gotten married and had children, that purpose shifted to, my purpose is to make sure my children are good, to make sure my wife and family is strong, to make sure that foundation is great, then branch off from there. But once I got divorced and my children got older, and they moved on and got their own children, do other things, I started discovering that I won't say that wasn't my purpose, because I think I did a great job at doing that. I'm patting myself on the back. But once all that was over, I kind of had to sit back and say, what's next? Because I didn't have a plan B necessarily as to, after I finished this purpose, because I didn't think that far ahead. I didn't think that far ahead as to once my children are older, or once my ex-wife, if we get divorced or whatever may happen, what am I going to do now? What am I living in now? What purpose am I living in now? Because that purpose takes on so much of your life sometimes that you don't realize that there's something else. That's a shift that needs to be had.
So sometimes you have to ask somebody, do you want a purpose? Because if they don't understand, then they may look for something. Like, you can actually look for your purpose. I can give you a way where you can kind of understand maybe what some of your purpose could be. Meaning, I would just ask you, what method or path have you chosen in life where you've reached the most people in a positive manner?
Right.
Or where you've touched or helped the most people, and some of that could be part of your purpose. You mentioned, like, you thought your purpose would be to, like, raise the family and protect and support your family. And part of that purpose could just be being a man, though.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And once again, that's not to take or detract from anything that could be some of your purpose.
Right.
But being family oriented could be part of some of the reason why you have a drive to continue to do maybe DJ.
Right.
You could look at the people that you reach as your extended family.
And I'm gonna tell you, like, we talked about the foundation earlier. Being a DJ was always was always like the ends to a means. I mean, a ways to an end to me. But it actually has become a foundation, and it's branched off to this. You know what I'm saying? Because when I started this, I was just a DJ on a show, and then things changed, people changed, places changed, venues changed. Slick blessed us enough to use her basement to do this, and then I branched out to doing these things, because I'm thinking about what you just said about the foundation and a tree, and how it's meant to do several different things. And I'm saying to myself, okay, I DJ, I can still DJ, but that led me to this. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was gonna say, because now it also led to where I'm at right now with you.
Right. And
so
those are branches that's reaching other things.
Exactly. Like, so part of my purpose now has pretty much fused with some of what you have going on.
Right.
I didn't know 10 years ago I'd be doing this. You see what I'm saying? But that's, like I say, you can find and stumble upon your purpose. This is a branch out of my purpose.
Right.
You know, I always thought music.
Right.
Music.
And that's what me. I always thought DJing. Okay, this it. I'm gonna concentrate on this. When I was younger, it was like every day. I'm DJing for 2-3 hours, and I mean, I really was in it. And I didn't even have no equipment. I was using my friend's equipment. So when we get out of school, I go down to his house 2 or 3 hours. He let me use his equipment to the point he said, hey, I gotta use my equipment too. But you know what I'm saying? Me and him back and forth all day. And I just thought that for a long time until I had children. Then that kind of fell to the wayside.
So it's like, although music is like one of my first passions, before I even did music, I had a love for poems. I had a love for reading and literature, you know what I'm saying? And art. So, I mean, it's funny because I can't really draw. I know people say can't. So, all right, if I put the time into it, I could draw better, right?
Right.
So, right now, instead of me doing that, I still have ideas where if I shoot them to a graphic designer and they make them come to life, people like, God damn, who thought of that? You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, there's a purpose in that for me. Like I'm shifting my purpose now. Like I guess now what I do is, because before like I even really started getting into music real good, I used to do journalism. You see what I'm saying? I wrote articles for people in magazines, for schools, you see what I'm saying, for papers, things like that. So that was part of my purpose. I just didn't put it all together. You see what I'm saying? So now I'm looking at it like, shit, okay, now I'm writing films.
But that led you to being able to talk.
Reaching people is the purpose now. Right. So now I'm just picking different platforms to do it. And being that energy, like bridging the gap, is one of the purposes that I'm putting on myself. Like getting these people in high school, getting these young folks, man, that's into the street shit, like giving them something to do or providing
that.
Yeah, you know, like, hey man, like take some pictures, bro. Write a script, write a gangster script, rather than go out there and actually shoot somebody, shoot film. Right. You see what I'm saying? So, and it's about to start taking off. And once again, purpose to networking. Like this platform is one of my purposes, and I'm getting off all of the branches and ideas through some of my topics. This topic right here, it's gonna help somebody. This is a purpose to get a purpose off. Like let people understand, man, hey man, if you got a purpose, spread it. And help somebody with it.
Yeah, and you know, I get discouraged about this thing that we do here at this podcasting, because you know, to be honest with you, it's time consuming. Yeah. If you try to do it right, because I want to make sure that all of our shows, everybody on this platform, you know, has success, and that takes time and effort. But sometimes I get tired. But then other times I'm meant to let people who maybe necessarily didn't have a loud voice to make their voice louder. You get what I'm saying? That's why and I feel like that's my purpose, is to let you guys just do what you want to do when you do these podcasts. Let's try to figure out other ways to get revenue, but say what you want to say, feel how you want to feel, and get it off your chest, because we don't have a lot of avenues as black folks to do such things like that. So I feel like that's maybe my purpose. I've thought about this many times. I'm supposed to let people who may not have, and I'm not saying people on here are broke, don't get me wrong, who may not have the revenue, enough revenue to do things in other ways, to let them do it here, get it off their chest, move on, and we all become a big family and branch out that way. Because to be honest with you, with all the shows I have, no, I don't feel like, and I might be wrong, I don't feel like nobody would help me if I asked them for it. Like,
you feel like everybody that would do with
their
it.
Means. Don't get me wrong.
That's family oriented.
But those are branches, because if they see something that I might need, or see something that can help me, they may reach me out. And I have people who call me for DJing all the time that from here.
Like, you about to start getting some calls from me.
Hey, lad, come out and DJ for me, bro. Or my sister got a party, she wants you to DJ. But those are branches to other things. You get what I'm saying? So, I'm glad you said that, because I don't think about it like that. But that whole tree, foundation, and branches is a very big thing for me. I mean, it really hit me differently because I never thought of it like that.
Well, I know one of the things and one of the reasons why my purpose isn't financially driven, because I don't want to wake up and be like, hey man, if they ain't paying, I ain't gonna do it.
And I don't do that either.
So my purpose it stems far beyond money.
Right.
Actually, with money, my purpose would be better. Like I could help more people. You see what I'm saying?
You talking my language now.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? But I do this because I want to do it. I do this because I'm built for it.
Right.
I do this because this is what I focus on doing. I get pleasure out of doing this. You see, just like each day I can find one person and be like, hey man, you know, I tell like one of my coworkers didn't know I had a podcast, and I told him I was talking about it today. He was like, man, so you know what you doing when you get off? I was like, shit, about to go ahead and get this information together for my podcast.
Right.
He was like, oh, I didn't know you had a podcast. I was like, oh well, let me tell you what the topic is.
Right.
Boom. Right then and there. Okay, so he was interested and he started telling me some things about it. Right.
Okay.
So now what I did was I was like, okay, well check this out. Got his contact. I'll shoot you the episode when I get done with it.
Okay.
So now that's another viewer, but another person that my purpose is gonna start reaching.
Right. I think a lot of times we get confused, and it may be all the noise, all the white noise we deal with on a daily basis. We get confused about the path and the purpose that we're supposed to fulfill, because we will put a lot of time into something because we started it. We will put a lot of time into something because we spent a lot of money on it, and we'll convince ourselves that that's my purpose. This has to be done. I just spent so much time on this. I just spent so much money on this. This has got to be a success. And the reason why it's not success, because that's not what you're supposed to be doing. That's not your purpose. That's not what your purpose in life is. That's not fulfilling you. Generally, if you really think about it, it's just that you spend so much money on it, you don't want to waste that money and time.
I think that was a goal and not a purpose. Them two different things too. See, and like my purpose is never ending.
But you see how cloudy that gets, though. Those two things get muddied up. You know.
Yeah. Like I'm never going to be able to finish my purpose because it's consistent.
Right.
Because one of my purposes, like I say, is to help. So like as long as I can, that's what I'm gonna do. As long as I got breath and the means to do it,
right,
I'm gonna help.
Right.
And so, and it's gonna be continuous type thing.
Right.
It's what I strive to do.
I think a lot of us need to sit back sometimes. Just sit back, figure out a way to turn off the noise, set the phone down, turn the internet off, sit in the dark room maybe, or whatever the case may be, to relax yourself and calm your mind, and try to figure out what path we're supposed to be walking, what purpose we're supposed to be walking in. Because you don't want to get to a certain age and figure out to yourself, damn, I done wasted 40 years doing this, and this wasn't even what I'm supposed to be doing. I mean, I haven't felt fulfilled by it for a long time, but I've done it because I put so much time and effort into it. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes you just have to cut off the noise, and we have a lot of noise. As you know, we talked about this before. We have a lot of white noise around us. We have a lot of inconsistent, unfulfilling things that we watch, listen to, and all of that, and it muddies the water of what we're supposed to really be focusing on and trying to move forward with.
And that kind of brings me to where I was going to say, like, well, situations, circumstances, and the environment can bring about a need for a purpose.
Right.
A lot of the times they can shape people's purpose, which is really what I'm dealing with right now. I feel the need, like situations for my purpose, like violence with the youth, man. Like I'm just not feeling that it's not cool to throw hands, but it's cool to unalive someone with a gun.
Right.
Like I think a lot of that needs to be changed. Certain circumstances, like being behind bars, or like the men not being in the house is creating certain circumstances for people. I feel like my purpose is to kind of like shed light on resolutions when you don't have that. Like we just got to start looking towards the brother, the cousin, the uncle, the nephew. You see what I'm saying? Or somebody. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to that.
Thank you. ING.create. They said this is a beautiful podcast. gratitude for creating it. We appreciate you tuning in.
Definitely appreciate that.
Most definitely grateful that you're watching. Because a lot don't watch, but we appreciate if we only have one watching, and we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Go. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm stuck on this one too. Like an environment, like then sometimes you got to be that person that purpose of light or something in a dark environment or in a negative environment. Then that means your purpose is to just be positive.
Right.
It could be a temporary purpose too. See what I'm saying? Well, I say mine is never ending, but I have temporary purposes, meaning like for a particular situation, if it's, let's just say, a hostile situation, maybe I can diffuse that.
Right.
My purpose is just to be there for that moment. Like you said, that vessel at that moment.
Right.
And go ahead and do what you got to do to diffuse something. Sometimes it's there to observe.
See, you said something that we don't disseminate. We don't really think about why are we in this situation right now. A lot of times we're reactional instead of sitting back thinking about why we're here. Why am I here? Like you said, if there's something going on, you say, I may be here to solve this issue, or I may be here to sit back and watch and listen and learn. And I don't think we are able to disseminate that because we're so reactional to things that we jump to a conclusion and jump to what we think we're supposed to be doing, what our purpose is of being here, instead of sitting back and thinking for, like they say, count to 10 before you say something. You know what I'm saying? When you're mad or in an argument, or count to 10 before you say something, and you'll realize that what you're about to say wasn't even that important, or what you're arguing about is not really that important. We don't do that. We just react a lot of times, and it will shift our purpose to another path. I think the journey will change once that shift happens. Once you shift the purpose of something else, like. If you're like, say me and you're out, and I'm just giving an example when I'm gonna let you finish. Just say me and you're out, and we boys, we hanging out, whatever, and somebody comes along and they bump into me and they all puffed up and ready to fight, and I'm ready to fight. Your reaction is to get ready to fight too, but your purpose may be to say, "Hey, Lab, I ain't worth all that shit, bro. Let's go." Because the end result may be me being unalive in a situation that you were supposed to pull me away from. You get what I'm saying?
So you absolutely right. In that particular example, I would say my purpose would be to see the bigger picture, and what you have going on further down the road that could be affected. Also, what you have that's closest to you that could be affected. And to piggyback off of that, I was going to say, like,
you're meant to take that count to 10. That's what you're there for. I'm not gonna count to 10 because I'm angry. So you're gonna count to 10 and say, "Hey, come on."
So my purpose requires me to act a lot because I got to be in motion a lot, man, to get a movement going and to get people to want to be on the same page that I'm on.
Right.
But I still have to have a particular itinerary, the way I schedule my things, meaning so before I act, I got to think on this. You see what I'm saying? I got to sit back in here and feed my purpose. I have to evaluate my purpose a lot too sometimes. You see what I'm saying? Because, all right, just to give you an equation with it or examples, we'll just say Jesus' purpose. You see what I'm saying? A lot of times, he wasn't by himself with it. He had wisdom with some disciples on his side. You see, actually, and there's visions. You see, so I'm kind of like I would say, I don't necessarily. Sometimes I have people that I'll consider almost like my oracles, meaning I basically get recharged through them for my purpose.
Okay.
Or I would just say enlightenment or advice from people that I actually seek out. And although I don't need validation, because your purpose, you're already validated. It's kind of self-validated when you know what you're doing and what you're here for. But to get the critique or the advice from others that I know got the kind of wisdom that I'm looking for, that makes me feel like, okay, wow, my purpose is reaching how it should. I'm basically kind of like iron sharpening iron.
Do you think that? I'm sorry.
No.
in your opinion, do you think that a purpose can be in that time, like in that particular space and time, your purpose was this, but now it's changed as you move forward. Like I just gave an example of your purpose right then was just to pull me away from this fight because it wasn't worth my time. But as soon as that's done and I walk away, now the purpose has shifted to something else. Do you think we can have spot purposes?
So I'm kind of tried and true with my purpose, but it'll just be who I react with my purpose with. Sometimes, like now, what I've learned is not everybody is meant for my purpose.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So
you're not meant to discuss all your ideas or with everybody.
Like just like how when we started, I said, you know, it's opinionated. Like some people might not. They might be like, man, well, if you think that's what you think your purpose is, but I don't see it, right. Or I'm not really affected by it, or I don't really think you're good at it like you think. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
I get what you're saying.
And they're entitled to that.
Right.
But I'm still going to do it because to me that's what I mean. It's just I would just say like it's kind of like when you start putting things on social media and you just see if something got 70,000 likes and 2 dislikes, you're not gonna be like, oh, I'm going with them 2 dislike people. They're the ones they write. They have their opinion. You can
right.
have that, but you're gonna be like, okay, well these 70,000 likes. Damn, I mean, I guess he was good at what he just did.
Right. So, but you can't have the opinion of the other two.
Yeah, clearly.
You can think that it's not. It's terrible.
I mean, they deserve to have it, like I said, because once again, it doesn't even matter what they think or what anyone thinks. When you think that's your purpose and that's what you're gonna believe and that's what you're gonna live in it, then it is. Who am I to knock you off your purpose?
That's true. You know, I had started a course to enlightenment a long time ago, and once I got divorced, and tried to figure out what I'm supposed to do next. My course shifted, my purpose shifted to trying to gain enlightenment. But on the process of trying to gain enlightenment, on the path of journey of moving towards that and studying it in its entirety, I realized that enlightenment is not meant to be gained. Enlightenment is a lifelong journey that is never meant to stop.
Yeah,
you're always supposed to be learning when you're on the path to enlightenment because enlightenment is ungainable.
Yeah. Okay, I see.
And I'm thinking to myself, is that the course with purpose? Or is purpose a lifelong thing that you're not really meant to grab hold of? You may think that you have hold of it because you're doing this and you're doing that, you're branching off certain things, but in the essence of it itself, you're not necessarily grabbing hold of it. You're constantly chasing it. You know how you reach out for something, you're like, oh, I got it, and then it flies away or something like that. That may be the case with purpose, and we talked about that earlier. And in my opinion, I don't necessarily think that, because it always shifts, so I don't necessarily think that purpose is necessarily attainable, but it's dang sure worth trying to obtain. You get what I'm saying?
Well, once again, I would say it's kind of like sounding like goals versus purpose. But I will say this to piggyback off what you said, like always learning and seeking enlightenment. One, because okay, so my dad is older than me. He's about to be 80 something. Okay, so I don't know what my body feels like that. I don't know how the mind starts thinking and what you process when you get to be that age. So you're gonna learn something in all points. You see what I'm saying? You're gonna start learning how to transition or learning, you know what I'm saying? What's most comfortable for you at that age. A lie don't mean nothing anymore. Right. When you get to that, and that's actually it's a freedom that you have. So, and as far as when you say kind of like the unobtainable, I say like if you put a purpose, like if it's a situational purpose, then there's always going to be room for a new purpose in your life. Meaning like I just look at it like I have a purpose and then I have goals. Okay. And so I keep that thing there exactly, like, because I don't want that purpose to be like a dangling carrot, meaning like, okay, you're never going to be able to accomplish the purpose because you don't really accomplish a purpose. You are that purpose to a degree. Like you're acting on your purposes, or you're living in that purpose, and the goals are something that you obtain or that you accomplish.
Okay. So it says that you at least need to learn one new thing every day, or try to yourself. Like we had on the podcast the other day, the guy says, if you are with your friends and your friends ain't never said, did you know? You get what I'm saying? Like, did you know that? You know what I'm saying? Giving you some new information that you made, and then you be like, no, I didn't know. You get what I'm saying? Adding life, wisdom, and knowledge to your repertoire by telling you about things you may have not known, which is teaching you, which is you're learning something within your group or every day, I guess you would say.
So I don't know, maybe it's the Virgo in me, because me wanting to be better and improve, and like, okay, I learn things when I do this podcast because just by me wanting to speak to people, I got to know what I'm talking about. Right. So sometimes I look things up. You see what I'm saying? If I don't know it offhand, like, because I've experienced it. So I'm gonna learn. You know what I'm saying? Yearly. Shit, I'll tell you something I got coming up. I have to learn some continuing credits just to keep my certification.
Right.
So I mean, you know, just by default. But purpose wise, I'll tell you this, because this is a branch of my purpose. What I do in the pharmacy is still helping and healing. Right. But it ain't music. Right. It ain't this.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. See.
But that helps fund your purpose.
But that is my purpose too, because I call myself the medicine man.
That's true.
And I do like medicinal music. Right. And this show is dosed up.
Okay. There you go.
It all plays a part. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when I be at work, I'm thinking about this, like, and that's what I mean. Like, that's where we're starting to get into living in your purpose. You can take it anywhere with you. I bring my purpose to work.
You can add things to it as you go.
Yeah, well, okay, so I just schooled somebody at work today, one of my supervisors on life.
Okay.
We went from the purpose of what I was talking about, my topic, to I explained to him how I was living, trying to be like a little bit of more immortality by having digital timestamps.
Okay.
And I said, I'm gonna give you an example. And I said, I like this because now when you're living it, I can do it in real time. So I could go to my phone. Okay. I can pull up the last week's podcast, the podcast 2 months ago. That's a timestamp. You see what I'm saying? I'm younger back then than I am now. All right. So what my daughter did, she videoed herself when she was about 3 or something like that, and she was singing, right? But she put it on YouTube.
Okay.
Timestamp. She don't look like that no more. She 21.
Right.
I pulled that up for him and showed it to him.
Right.
I said, so this is what my daughter looked like. This is what she sound like when she was this age.
Right.
Beautiful, bruh.
Right.
I can't get that in my memory, man. You see what I'm saying? Just like that. I can show it to you when I go off.
But it can't refresh your memory.
It can refresh it.
Right.
But that's a timestamp of her then and there for her. She don't remember what she, like everything about that time period and what she looked like, because you can't look in the mirror and look at that.
Right.
But you can play that now.
Okay.
So, that's another thing that I kind of like about the social media, where it'll show you what you did like 4 years ago to bring up something, but it might be a picture. It might be something that you posted.
Right.
So if you don't do videos, then you don't have that. Right. You see what I'm saying?
Like, I looked at something from a while back when we first started doing Westside Misses. It was a picture on Facebook of memory. You know how they throw And I looked at that and I was like, dang, I sure was skinny back then.
Hey, man.
But it was a timestamp of how I looked back then. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, I sure was skinny. I was in shape back then, but not so much now. Slick says it's a book called The Purpose Driven Life.
Right. Okay.
It says, I guess you said in the book, it says it's supposed to help you answer the question, what on earth am I here for?
See, a lot of people want, like, what's the purpose? They want to know what they on earth for. And to me, it could be many different things. It can change as you get older, man. But I just look at it like a lot of people, the basis of it is if you could exist peacefully, that's one of them.
Okay.
Because you don't want to stress with the negativity and the violence.
Okay.
Some people look at it like they're on Earth to procreate.
Right.
Some people think that they're on Earth to help. Some people think that they're on Earth to just do what they want to until they unalive. You see what I'm saying?
But I say thinking and knowing are two different things. You can think something, but not actually know it. You get what I'm saying? You can think you could change a tire, but actually not know how to do it.
So they want to know why they're here?
I think purpose, I think a lot of times people's purpose, people define their purpose as knowing what they're here for, knowing why they're here, knowing why they're doing this or that at this particular time in their life, knowing how to move forward from that, and like you said, branch off to other things.
So basically, like, if I were to put my like conspiracy theory type thinking cap on, and attack this situation as to kind of like why are we here or the purpose, I would really go back to one, how were we brought here? Like, how were you born and what were you born with?
Or what were you born into?
That, and meaning like you kind of have what you need if you're born the way you are, aren't you? Because
I don't think so.
I mean,
because sometimes you could be born, and I don't mean this in a bad way, deficient of some things, and those things are things that you need.
But for us, right? Like, what I mean is, we need air, right? We got that, don't we?
Right.
We need water, right? That's out there, ain't it?
Right.
Okay. Elements. You can create fire if you know how to, can't you?
That's true.
So them type of basic needs for survival, we got them. But as I was kind of like, and I can tie this in because as a matter of fact, this gentleman right here is actually online with me. And it's Hallworth, but he had made some good statements about how like black jobs, what is considered to be black jobs. But I was like, not necessarily, but let's just say like construction, agriculture, labor, those type of things, almost like masonry, like Masonic type things. They're basically what we did to build this country. And if you look at it, that's actually like purposeful, first of all, and it's survival. Because agriculture, you can look at it as like knowing how to fish, knowing how to irrigate land, knowing how to build on which land to build on, and knowing how to farm and plant, right?
That's true.
So, but now you don't really need technology for that, do you?
Not at all.
You born technically with the capabilities to be able to do that, but do you have the knowledge to do it? And the knowledge
you could physically do it.
Thank you.
But the knowledge to do so, or knowing where to plant it at, how the soil is supposed to look, how it's supposed to smell, and all that stuff is not necessarily something that you know right offhand. It's something you can learn.
But all you need is a seed too, right?
Right.
So meaning like you don't need no crane or no giant technology. So basically that goes back to kind of like you saying like the purpose of why you're here. You have what you need. Some of your purpose is look around you, Earth. Like I think some of our purpose would be to plant, because if you want to plant, you got to eat something to stay alive. That should be one of our purposes, but it ain't.
No,
they're taking that from they took our purposes from us
that
to a degree.
Has been taken from us, and we've been given that to where we don't know how to plant certain things anymore. I mean, of course, you have your grandmamas and great grandmamas that worked the soil and worked the land when they were younger with their dads and moms and sharecroppers and stuff like that. Of course, you have those. Some of us still have those. I don't, but some of us still do, and you can learn from them. But in all actuality, that purpose of knowing how to plant and grow things and farm and sustain ourselves off the grid is something that most of us in our generation don't know how to do. I couldn't tell. I'm like we talked about earlier when we first started. I'm not a yard person. I can't tell you how to till the land and work it to where you can get just about anything to grow out of it. I can't tell you that because that's not something I learned. But I'm quite sure there's other people that can tell you that because that's something that they're learned and they use on a daily basis. I couldn't do that. I think we are supposed to grow our own things. We're all supposed to live off the land, but
create
like said,
and survive too.
Create and survive, but that purpose has been taken. So, like you said, we had to find another purpose. So that's what I meant by purpose shifting.
But now you're right. But see, I think we should still keep that purpose because that purpose was stripped from us, kind of like.
But how will we keep it if we don't know it?
Well, we do. Okay, so we're losing it each generation because we keep.
Now.
It ain't necessarily gone, man. Like, okay, you still have indigenous people. You still have people from other countries that man, you got people in this country that know how to damn grow.
Right.
I mean, we just need to just keep it going before we do lose those, you know what I'm saying, skills. But and it's always in the book. Like that's another thing. It ain't like they just removed the knowledge off the face of the fucking earth.
They trying. Well, let me say
they are, but what they did was they removed our urge and desire to want to do it.
Right.
And sometimes now we can't either because
you said exactly what I was going to say. With the desire and want and need to do so has been stripped away. So the purpose of that is not a necessity because we can go to the grocery store and just get exactly what we need, be it good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. We can always go to the grocery store and get what we need, and we don't need to live off the land anymore because they have given it to us. They have stripped that purpose away, and I think that was on purpose, but hey, that was by design, but hey, that's just me.
So, I'm going to ask you this. If we were to like scroll back some, do you think that it would be a person's job to like cultivate that land or their purpose to do it?
Well, if that's something that they feel happy doing, something that they love to do, then it would be their purpose.
I think it's their purpose too, because guess what, right? Like, first of all,
especially if it's their land,
and the land is meant to be cultivated anyway, right?
Right.
And look at what you can receive from cultivating it properly, like life, because you're gonna have fruit, vegetation, and everything else from that. So I think that I kind of agree with that as well.
I believe that definitely can be the case.
And it's also part of our purpose because you said this in the beginning too, and I definitely agreed with it. Was like, okay, you said you wanted kind of like to provide for your family, right? Well, imagine being able to grow and being able to provide for your community,
right?
Because y'all have a farm that you can grow to that you are actually, a part of and growing. I think those kind of things are necessary. Like, I'm tired of kind of seeing like gentrification where we got street, building on top of building on top of building on top of building, right? How about like you get acres of stuff and we have like certain facilities in that, and then you have farms on that though, but then you have like houses here, like a tribe or a community, and then we flourish like that. Like you can fish on that property.
So the purpose of that would be to build a community that's
self-sustaining, but we can still like go out and do the same things we already doing, but just in case if the shit hit the fan,
right?
You know, you practice, you know how to do this stuff.
All right.
Because right now, like, it'd be total chaos. Like, you can't even get to certain, like you can't even you wouldn't even damn near be able to get to the country. And then my thing is, it wouldn't make any sense for everyone in the city to try to overpopulate the country. Now you just got city people out in the country with the same shit. Whereas if you know how to have infrastructure and you know the same thing to do within the city that you know how to do outside of the city, you straight.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. Is when we kind of shifted towards farming, let's shift back towards
the purpose,
the guiding light of our purpose, the guiding light of my purpose, your purpose, and other people's in general purpose. We say that goals and purpose are different, but after I thought about it, I think that they're intertwined. Our goals give us the fuel and energy to find and define and move forward with our purpose. We set goals. We set goals in our lives as ways to move forward. We may say, today I'm going to write chapter 1 of my book. That's a goal.
Okay.
Tomorrow I'm going to write chapter 2 of my book.
Mm-hmm.
That's a goal.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of writing the book, the purpose was to write the book.
Okay.
The chapters written were the goals within the book that you wanted to make sure you finished within this day or this week. But the end product was the purpose. So I think that goals and purposes are intertwined. You have to have a goal, because if you have no goals, you're not motivated to do anything, I believe. I don't know. I mean, I got to have a goal. My goal is to make these podcasts successful.
I got you. So what I'll say is I would take purpose and replace purpose with reason, because my goal was to get a new car, but that wasn't my purpose in life.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Like,
but that's that. Hey, let me break it down to you like faction. It wasn't your goal in life to get a new car, but your purpose was that you needed one. That's why your other car, in its infinite wisdom, decided to say, "Hey, he's never going to get one unless I don't work again." And he's going to need that to fulfill his purpose, to get from this set to that set to this set to that set. Because God forbid that I keep running, and then when he's trying to get from one set to the other set to give them a script, I decide to go out, and now it looks embarrassing for him to have to call the director of a major motion picture that he's kind of working on now and say, "Hey, I can't bring you to skip, my car just broke down." So sometimes we don't see. We say to ourselves, "No, I don't. That wasn't my purpose to get a new car, but it was a necessity to get to your purpose."
Now watch how I flip this. So if my purpose is to, first of all, reach people, and my purpose was to get in the movie, then I would just Uber. But I'm not gonna let the fact that I didn't have a vehicle stop me from my purpose. You see what I'm saying? So, but the vehicle could stop you from your purpose if you're on the way to fulfill it and it stops working. Yeah, it could.
Because now it's gonna shift your focus to how to get from point A to point B.
But hold on. You don't stop your purpose because you can't make it to one thing. If one person said, "You know what, you can't get this role," and I stopped doing it, then that wasn't my purpose. Because you can't make me stop my purpose because you reject me. That's you that don't buy into what I got going on. But my purpose is my purpose. So
you think you're not getting that role or that part or giving that script to that director was meant to happen because you have this other role, this other script or whatever that's a bigger movie and a better opportunity.
So what I do know is you can't control certain things in life when they happen like that. And if them people respect you and it's meant for you to have that role, you just take a picture of your car, video yourself with the shit broke down and show it to them. If that don't work, then okay, thank you. Then what kind of people would I want to work with if I'm having an emergency that can fuck with me and you not responding to it, like you're not sympathetic of it, man, fuck you. Like we don't need to be doing business. Because if it happened to you, I'm gonna have to eat that. I'm gonna have respect for it. So at some point, like I'm cool on that. Like, and once again, like I said, and that's when that's where the purpose come in. When you know who you are, you know your value. It don't matter if they don't see it. You see it. Because if I'm waiting on what you got going on, I'm never gonna make it.
I give you that. And if you're waiting on somebody else to fulfill your purpose, you're not gonna ever make it.
I'm trying to tell you.
You got to fulfill that thing on your own. You got like goals. You can't wait on somebody to help you fulfill your goals for that day. You got to go ahead and fulfill them yourself and try to. And if you don't fulfill them, set them aside for another day.
Man, this is what
so let me ask you a question. You don't think anybody can? I don't want to say influence, because I think people can influence your purpose. But you don't think anybody can knock you off course of your purpose if you have a focused mindset towards it.
The only thing that's gonna stop you is unalive or jail.
Okay.
Or you know what I'm saying, you something happened to you where you become disabled.
So that purpose is like a locomotive. It's a train that's gonna bust through just about anything.
Okay, so every day that you wake up and you alive, that's basically like the same. Like, and the purpose is what is going to be the ending factor. It's like the adrenaline that it's the drug that you never come down from, the encouragement that you never without, so that you don't stop, so that you don't procrastinate. A lot of times, that's why I say a purpose is different from a goal, because you take time off of a goal from time to time. A purpose, you ain't no time off the purpose. That's you.
Right.
You meant for this. This is what you finna wake up and do.
Right.
You know, you gonna set that goal aside. A goal is set. A purpose ain't set. A purpose is, okay, I'm waking up, I'm finna do this. Waking up, I'm finna do this. This is meant to do. So like, let's just say Tesla's purpose.
Okay.
Do you think he was gonna stop that?
Or the Nikola Tesla, like Nikola Tesla, or
him.
Elon Musk Tesla?
No, the Nikola
Tesla. Okay.
You can already see, like, once again, from the outside looking in. I don't know that man from a can of paint, but based off what that man has accomplished, you can tell what his purpose was. You see what I'm saying? Now, what I would think is, based off of the findings of what he was doing, some of his purpose was to manipulate electricity.
Right, to harness the power.
Exactly. And he did that thing, I would say.
Right.
All right, so with that being said, he was going to do that to the day that he unalive.
Right.
Ain't no shaking that. And no matter what you told him, it wasn't going to stop him.
So you don't think it could be like, you don't think that purpose could be shaken? It can't be shaken. If
you're
really living in it, it can't be shaken.
How can it be your purpose if somebody can talk you out of it?
Right. See, I get. Hey, hold on.
Nope. Hey man, and then so here's the thing too. I like to say my purpose is not my dream. See, it's a difference. Like, my dream is basically more materialistic and planned for me. A dream is something that damn near you want. A lot of times people be dreaming of an object or a job.
Right.
You don't dream of a purpose. A purpose is something that you're actually acting and doing. It's not even a material.
And when we talked about that earlier, you know, you may not make a dime from your purpose. And your dream is always going to be fulfilled with money, cars,
something, exactly.
Clothes.
Yep, something that we want. Which is why I tell people like this, man, like, when people be like, ooh, I want to act, or they say, ooh, I want to do some music, ooh, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. What you want to do it for, right? They want to do it for money, or they want to do it for the fame or something, right? Okay, so I'm like, okay, so what you gonna do when you get your money? Oh, I'm about this, I'm about that, I'm about that. And we had this conversation before, right? I'm saying, okay, so you got a rap to buy a car? It's a million things you can do to make money to go get the car. So what's your purpose for it now? You know what I'm saying? What's your reason to want to do music? See, my reason to want to do music ain't that.
Right.
I had to tell somebody, one, because I can live on. Two, is getting a point across and a message. You see what I'm saying? It's conveying something. Damn, you got something smelling good in this thing popping through the fan, bro. That's all I'ma say. Hey, man.
I saw your face.
Hey, I'm like, this thing hit me, bro. What is that, man? We gotta pause. We gotta take a break. This is a smell good break. Something going on the instant. Something you got burning in this thing, bro, man.
That's actually slick. She bought the diffuser thing up there, so it sprays every 30 minutes or so. Give you a little shot of good smelling
man.
this.
See, I be observing, man. You never know what you might have to use, man. Take it to the bachelor crib.
I appreciate that. You know that real quick. Your face was like, what's that?
Hey, man, because it just, I was like, hold on now. I know I'm smelling something, man. I know it ain't the cologne, you know what I'm saying? Made me lose my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
But back on, like, purposes, though, and not actually being shaken from them. And, you know, like I say, it took a minute, and I think I was talking about kind of like on the music and like what I can do with my purpose, as far as my music is kind of like living on too. You see what I'm saying? And I have to have something that actually means something of content, something that actually makes some sense. When I do my clothing, as far as the purpose behind that, I do subliminal messages on that. So that's how I'm trying to reach with that. This podcast. So it's a lot of different ways that I'm putting my purpose out there. And you know what I'm saying? And no one is whatever, you know, the criticism or what they say is really gonna knock me off of it.
Right,
it's just
right.
I'm good at it. I knew this since I started actually charging people to write book reports in damn near kindergarten, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's funny, I just got this message about some hustling I got to take care of in about 30 minutes, y'all. But yeah, so you know, battling and all this other stuff with it, as far as like I took the music right, battling people, and you see people try to beat you with that, and when you sharpen your blade on that and you understand, okay, so whatever they say, their criticism ain't knocking you off. Like, I'm just confident with it, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
as me, as a 53-year-old man, black man, I my purpose gets scrambled sometimes. So what I do is I take a minute, meditation, prayer, whatever you want to call it, and I sit back and ask myself and the universe, like, am I supposed to be doing this? Like, and I know that when we talk about purpose, we live in it, and we know we're focused, hyper focused on it, and we know that sometimes this is what we're supposed to be doing. But also, when things, like we say, when things get hard, when times get tough, maybe money for the purpose gets short. You have to sit back and meditate on it and think about to yourself, like, am I meant to be doing this? Like, what else should I be doing? And if you really can't figure out anything else, to me, that you're supposed to be doing, or anything else that takes as much of your, not energy, but takes as much from you or gives you as much joy as maybe the thing that you're questioning, then that's probably is your purpose. You know, if you don't, if like me, I say every day, I quit this every day, only to wake up tomorrow and start again. Because, you know, like we talked about earlier, things get difficult, money gets short, and unfortunately, we need money to keep this moving forward. But I wake up every day and do it again. You get what I'm saying? Because it takes nothing for me to send out a text and say, we done, this is over with, but I don't do it.
So to piggyback off of that, because it's embedded in your conscience now, and you can't stop. Like, there have been times I said I quit, I retire, I want to stop, I don't want to do this no more. Right. But next thing you know, I just say something and the shit rhyme. Right. Or I think of a nice phrase that I want to put on a shirt. Or I see something that needs to be changed and I want to speak on it. And so then I'm like, here I am again. You know, it's something to do. It's productive as well. That's another reason why I don't want to stop. But I also wanted to say, because we talked about this off of air, as far as being confident in the purpose and standing on that purpose, meaning like now I know I can kind of buy my way into things and like double down on my purpose with my finances. Right. So if I want to do a short film to show something meaningful, like let's just say a short nonviolent film, I can put my money where my mouth is now. Okay. Which is part of my purpose, and then get that out. So I don't have to ask nobody, wait on nobody no more. You know what I'm saying? Because with me building that network and that group that I was talking about, that's exactly what that is for. Like, that's part of my purpose too, networking, leading, and communicating. So that's what that is. Now, imagine if I decide to put a group of realtors and construction workers together, and we decide we want to do what I just said and build that compound or build a facility or a school maybe for the homeless or something like that. Right. I think that's one of my purposes too. That would be a purpose, but see, that goes up under the leading branch or whatever. Right. I got plenty of ideas like that I want to shoot and get across, but you gotta have the money for it. So, but that don't mean that my purpose stopped, because I just said buy my way in. So it's building blocks. So first, I put my money into my purpose, meaning like I get the entertainment and I get the media shit out of the way. Then we put monetization on that. Okay. All while I'm building networks and groups. Then once the media side done with it, it's time to go to the neighborhoods. Okay. And with the neighborhoods, like, we don't have to go to a town hall meeting. Create your own damn town hall. Okay. You get prominent people that you know are popular or influential, and you set up when and where you want to meet. Then you get an itinerary together. Then maybe you start getting like maybe somebody that could be a publicist and a lawyer or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And then you work with what? Then now you start going to some politicians and singling them out, maybe, and start or go to the state or go wherever you need to go, business wise, to get it done. Right. A lot of times we might think we need a politician to open the door for us to get some shit like a school started, when all you need is money, a lawyer, and go to the state. So, I mean, you could talk about these kind of things when you have the finances and the resources to start talking about them. I'm on the small end of the totem pole right now with it, but that don't mean I ain't got the ideas.
I'm going to touch on a couple of things. I think that it's very important to have a person that pulls you forward within your purpose. Someone that can help you not give up on it. For me, that's Slick. She helps me, you know, she tells me, hey, you need to finish doing that. Like, you know, you get tired. And like the other day when I was doing the podcast Sunday, you know, I have a lot of podcasts on Sunday. She said, hey, you know, your face lit up. You got energy. When you start doing them podcasts on Sunday. Sometimes you need people to show you, to turn the light on you, to make you realize that, okay, this is not in vain. But also the other thing that we talked about earlier was when you've done something great, like greatness, and you feel like that's your purpose, but you've gotten older now, and you don't feel as fulfilled from anything as you did from that, what you were doing, and how it causes depression. You know, it causes suicidal thoughts maybe, and how trying to find something else that could fulfill you just as much, because like we talked about basketball, you know, we talked about a certain basketball player being great and then not necessarily being able to do those things, and we discussed, well, passing that knowledge on to someone else, like you said, hey, pass that knowledge on to someone else, that's still letting your purpose move forward. And my argument was, we want to physically be able to do the same things.
I got you. I kind of understand where you're coming from now, because 97% of my purpose basically involves my brain. Right. So imagine if I had a stroke. Right. Or imagine if something happened to my vocal cords and I can't speak. So now I can't rap, or I can't do music, and I can't really do my podcast. Right. As long as I can use my brain, and I thought about that, like if my voice is gone, I got fashion to fall back on. I can write. You see what I'm saying? Because, and I also have goals that are purpose, that still belong to my purpose. Meaning, like I said, my purpose is like to lead, and my purpose is to speak and to reach people. Right. So one of the purposes that I have set aside for later on, once all this smoke is cleared, is to write a book. Okay. So that's reserved for this. So meaning, like, if I feel like I'm not doing enough in music, or I don't want to do the music no more, and I feel depressed from that, well, write the book. Okay. All right. Also, like I said, I got fashion to get into, design some clothes. All right. If I want to just detach from the purpose of speaking, leading, and doing all of this media, and just detach, guess what? I'm a kid at heart. Okay. So I'm going to go get some remote control cars, play them things. I'm going to get on PS5 or 15, whatever the PS is at that time. I might go fishing. You know what I'm saying? I might put a puzzle together. I like puzzles. Right. I might go get a model car. Oh, shit, I collect Hot Wheel toy cars. Okay. Bro, so those type of things, shit, if I can still drive, I'll be in a American muscle car. So I'll fly a kite. But there are plenty of things I have in reserve for relaxing and just enjoying the time after I put the work in, when I feel like I'm done with the purpose, or if the purpose gets too overwhelming for me, if the purpose put me in an environment where it's starting to get dangerous and that ain't what I wanted it to be, if the purpose gets misconstrued and misunderstood and taken out of context and out of hand, and I'm doing more harm than good with it, then I'll back off. But, you know, I don't really see that.
Right. I mean, you put a lot of, you have a lot of different interests that you can shift to for purposes to you know, help you move forward. But, you know, you have those people who focus so much on that one thing, they don't have anything else. And so those people are the ones that I was talking about as far as trying to find another purpose, because it can be difficult, especially after you get to a certain age. Like, you know, we talked about, you know, someone's uncle saying, you know, I'm older now. This is going to be the last time I'm able to, this may be the last time I'm able to do this. And him trying to figure out, well, what's his next move? Well, we say purpose, but, you know, most of us say, well, what's my next move? What am I to do next? Because like I told you then, me not being able to necessarily physically DJ would break my heart. And I think that's what a lot of times people think about when they say, I'm not going to be able, this going to be the last one, because they're physically, their heart is broken, that they know that they physically probably won't be able to do this anymore. But now they got to figure out what else can they do.
So I would ask that person, like, do you have hobbies that you like? Is this serious enough for you to have therapy? Shit, would a pet help solve it?
Right.
See, I mean, you know, just seriously.
And
you
pets
know
do help
That's
a
what I'm
lot
saying,
of people.
you know,
I give it. I'm not laughing at the pet part, but they do help a lot of people.
Like I say, I think the only thing that'll knock me off my rocker is being physically unable to do it. Because that's not what I foresee in my future. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I see myself as being strong enough, capable enough to handle the task and the purpose. So I am human, and I got feelings and emotions like everybody else. I would be shocked if I woke up and couldn't do my purpose.
Right.
Like that shit would be like, God, man, like what I'm gonna do now? Yeah. But, and I don't even have a plan, I guess C or D.
Right.
Because I'm banking it on this because this is me. You see what I'm saying? And I already know how to make money by pitching myself to a company and organization. I've been doing it. So there's no peak in that. There's no epitome of feeling like I've mastered something with that.
Okay.
Because as a matter of fact, the older you get, the more you feel like, man, here I go again, having a damn clean up and try to get a job. Like, make these people feel like they want to hire me. You be like, do I feel like going through this? Then you be feeling like you know, you really ain't worth it. Then like they're gonna lowball me and all, man, you know. So
I agree with you on that. I agree with you 100% on that. You do feel like at some point you get tired of just doing.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You get tired of shifting. You get tired of trying to figure out what else am I going to do next. And that's when we were talking about how 80-year-olds just don't, it just doesn't bother them anymore. They've moved on to a purpose of something else, and everyday life expectancies just doesn't consume them at all.
It can't, because we're gonna be honest, time ain't on their side.
Right.
Like, time is on some people's side. Time ain't, you know, we can play with time a little bit, but we can't play with it. We can't pause that shit.
Right.
We gotta get it moving. You know what I'm saying? Meaning, when I say play with time, shit, wake up at 8, 9 o'clock rather than at 12 o'clock.
Right.
PM, you know, noon. You see what I'm saying?
All of our summers are limited. Some of us are a little bit further ahead in our summers than others. You know, I start focusing on how many summers I had left when I turned 52. You know, I was like, man, you know, if I really sit down and think about it, if I'm blessed enough, you know, 20 and 25 years is not very long in the grand scheme.
No, it's not. No.
So you have to start thinking about those summers that you have left, and have you done what you're submitted to? Have you done and affected and helped as many people that you were supposed to do when you were here? Did you live in your purpose? Did you do people right, or did you make an impact on other people's life in a positive light? Especially me now that I'm 53, I think about those things all the time, because did I raise my children feel like I was a great dad? You know, things like when I was married, did my wife feel like I was, great and I treated her well? So those things you focus on, you try to reflect on as you get older, because you know that your summers are limited. And I know my summers are limited. I'm not shy about that at all. Man. I know that they're limited. 25 years is not a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have to figure out how I'm going to make an impact within the next 10 or 15 if I'm blessed enough to be able physically to do so.
So that's where I want to tell you this. When you're living in your purpose, a lot of times you don't even see the impact that you're making.
Okay.
Because of the consistency and the continuity in what you're doing. You think it's like wake up and repeat, but other people can see different shit.
Right.
And new people are coming into this equation every so often that you touching that you don't even see. Also, it's like they've accelerated time to the point where like now I don't even focus on it as much. I focus on what I have to do because what I have to do is blurring time now. There's no time frame to success anymore.
Right.
What it is each day that you're up, do something towards what you want to do.
Create.
Exactly. Okay. And then it's like I'll celebrate. I heard that time. Yeah. But just like I'll celebrate a birthday.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But they mean something different now. Like, and I'm not gonna say I don't even look forward to them because I look forward to every day like it's my birthday now.
Okay.
Every day I look forward to trying to get out there and do be purposeful.
Okay.
And do something. So because like I might have 20 years, I might have 20 days. You don't know.
You just don't know.
And I think I'm comfortable to say you don't have to travel the globe. You don't have to have made a certain amount of money. You don't have to have all these damn diamonds. You don't have to have all these girlfriends, all these cars and all of that to say that you lived a quality life.
Right.
Like, I think people just going overboard with the materials, bro.
Right.
Like, sometimes just going home and having some peace of mind, your favorite fucking drink sitting in your chair is all that you wanted.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or knowing like, okay, I'm gonna tell you what the highlight of my day was. On the way home, I gave up my seat for this lady on the MARTA train.
Okay.
I liked that.
Right.
I saw one lady smile and she thanked me.
Right.
Fuck it.
You were fulfilled at that particular moment.
Man. I mean, like, I ain't trying to get more out of life than what it's gonna provide.
Not trying to
like
right.
What gave me okay, I'm gonna give you a circumstance that gave me a different type of purpose. It made me understand my purpose of value in myself. When I was laid off from a job unexpectedly, and this was a little bit before the epidemic, pandemic, whatever you want to call it, and I'm sitting up here trying to like, man, I got to convince people to hire me. And I wasn't gonna say I was gonna panic, but I was like, man, I got these bills to pay, and I was feeling like I ain't nothing. I can't go out on no date. What am I gonna talk to this chick for? Am I gonna keep my cell phone on? All these different things was crowding my mind. I was like, hold up. First of all, I'm a grown ass man.
Right.
Regardless of how much I make. I'm the same person that when I was making money was giving everybody money. So how am I gonna be less of a person because I got laid off? So when that clicked and I stopped judging myself and beating myself up for not having no money, then I was like, all right, now if I went to work and made money, that's me making money.
Right.
My body is in a place where I'm making money. Why don't I put my body somewhere where I can make money that ain't necessarily at the hospital?
Right.
It just started clicking, you know what I'm saying? Or why don't I move this and do that? You know what I'm saying? Make some money in temporary. Next thing you know, I did some valeting at one point. That's money, ain't it?
That's money.
It put instant money in my pocket. So I just started thinking, your mentality is what creates the opportunity to make money. It was my mentality that put the goddamn application in at the place that laid me off.
Right.
They didn't call me. I had to get up and do something to do it.
Right.
That same mentality, find a way to make the money, right? So I say that because a lot of times I've sat there with people at the table and they got a purpose. But for some reason, their purpose need a finance behind it. So
even to start it.
Yeah.
Even to get it going.
What if your purpose is you're a chef and you want to have a restaurant and you want to feed people on a grand scale, and you don't want to? Some people they don't want to do it little by little. They want to wait on something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
or they want the finances to get things crumbled. What if they want that food truck?
Well, let me ask you a question though. In your opinion, if they're not willing to do it little by little, are they actually living within that purpose? Because if I'm living within my purpose and I want to be a chef, I'm going to go places and work at certain things and do certain things to become a chef, go to school, whatever the case may be, but also to learn how to cook better, to learn different avenues of cooking, and you never know who you may meet in the process of living within that purposes bit by bit. You may meet somebody who can finance your restaurant and be like, man, you cooked that? That was great. I'm trying to get a restaurant started. Let's talk. Because like you said, you started building a group based off going on the set or letting them use your house for a set, and then it grew to something bigger. Those building blocks of building something bigger has to start with one block in order to add other blocks to it. So to me, a person who's not willing to do it bit by bit is not willing to do it at all.
So I'll say this. What you just said came with wisdom and experience of what you're doing.
Okay.
So young me used to be a starving artist, what they would say. Young me, but work, bro. I'm hustling. If it ain't these streets and this rap, that's it.
Right.
All right. So young me didn't understand. Young me was like, oh, the record label finna do this for me. They finna do this. If I can't get no deal, I need a deal.
Right.
Me now, what did I just tell you? I can buy my way up.
Right.
I don't need you. I don't need your money to get this whip. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So I had to learn that. But young me wasn't willing to give you nothing for free. Young me wasn't doing like young me. Hey, the only thing you might get free is a sample, if that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I had to grow into what I got going on now. Young me wasn't doing no leading.
Okay.
Young me did dirt by himself. Young me didn't want you near me like that. You see what I'm saying? Young me would discourage you to come around me with that shit. Some of these things some places I couldn't go into because you be like, bro, you wouldn't even want me over your house.
Right.
So it's growing, it's growth.
Right. Slick says stay small until you figure out what's working.
Oh, but check this out too. Sometimes people don't do that, the small thing yet. Well, because let's just say until they can perfect their method, you know what I'm saying? They don't want to give you a bad taste.
Okay.
Or whatever like that. But me, I would say kind of like what you would say. I would encourage them to start out like small and give samples and things like that out so that you understand what your market is and what people do like.
I was just about to say, how you gonna know what's working if you don't put it out there to be tasted? You got to give a person a bad taste to know that it's a bad taste. Because if I'm constantly tasting the stuff that I'm doing or constantly seeing it myself and not giving it to nobody, I'm gonna know what's bad. I'm gonna think it's great because I'm doing it.
I've seen people that they know they shit is good and they've done it on a small scale and you try to convince them that their purpose could be bigger.
Right.
And they be like, no. So, well, all right. So I'm looking and it's getting to be that time, man. I really enjoyed talking to everybody tonight. And like I said before, goals and dreams, if you have them, just because you may not necessarily have a specific purpose that you think you were born to do or that you were meant for, does not mean that you're not valuable or that you don't add value or that you're not special or that you are not important to people. Because like I said, it took me a minute to understand a lot of what my purpose is, and I'm still growing into the leadership purpose. I used to tell everybody all the time, like I say, that ain't what I want to be. Right. But it's been people that looked at me and was like, that look like what you born to do. Right. So I'm walking in it. Now, when you living in your purpose, it becomes evident for everyone to see. I would advise that you like to do it just for the happiness that it brings and the joy that it brings to everyone else. If you can monetize it, great, so be it. But pass that wealth on to people too and pass that wisdom on. All right, I'd like to acknowledge the 3 people that I see on my line right now with me. That would be Hallworth. Then we got Latanya. And what's up, Stan? Appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'll be back next Monday. I'm about to take me some pictures, man. Later, y'all.
Peace.
Yeah. Grams leaders CC's, pounds. Close caps, close call, close encounter, close up, pounds of leaders of grams, get your dosed up, cut this up, post up, and get dosed up. This for them voted like the move and make the most of. Monday night at 8, I can't wait to set you straight. These opinions and debates for them folk that can't relate. I gotta elevate your mind through these signs of the time. Dishing out that medication for that deaf, dumb and blind. And I ain't hard to find, you can catch me in no trenches. I drew the groundwork and I ain't waiting on no sense. I be touching on them topics politicians fail to mention. And I don't vote for nobody that ain't got good intentions. I'm relentless for my people and I'm here to make a change. I got that true serum hooked directly to your vein. Hey, this is for my people, tune in, catch a close up, close up, close up, a close up, grams of it, tune in, leaders of it, close up, pounds of it, pounds of it, yeah, grams of it, leaders up, pounds, get your dosed up, dosed up.